uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com.
uwager.lv. Sport.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television as your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first preseason game. That's all right, but football is back. It is preseason. How do we start off this show as we always do here on a Monday and Wednesday? And, of course, after Bucs games, pre- and post edition. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. A lot of good things I saw tonight from Baker Mayfield. A lot of bad things I saw tonight, especially that right side. Luke Haggerty, the rookie there, not necessarily good. So we'll definitely get into it. And as always, we'll take your phone calls as we always do here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television as your Bucs fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-17. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Definitely want to hear from you guys tonight. I want to preface this by saying everybody don't lose their mind, okay? The first drive, not necessarily the best start, right? 3 straight runs, and then you have a penalty by the rookie there, and it backs you up, and you got a punt. And everybody's like, well, is Byron Leftwich in the building at this point? Everybody's losing their mind. It's this preseason. They're going to have vanilla. They're not going to show anything that anybody's going to pick up on. And then the early second quarter there, 10-play, 59-yard drive with Baker Mayfield going 8 for 9, 63 yards with a touchdown to Trey Palmer. So not bad. Are there things to work on? Of course there are things to work on. It is preseason football. Once again, definitely want to hear from you. This is the Sports Web, the Evolution, live here on I Love St. Pete, the Hub, Amped Up Sports, and of course, Bucs Life. Open phone lines if you want to call in. I know there's a lot of passionate Bucs fans out there. What did you think about Baker Mayfield's performance? What did you think about Kyle Trask? 6 for 10, 99 yards, 1 interception. To be fair, though, he's playing with the second and third stringers, and he didn't have any time, especially on that right side with Luke Haggerty. Not necessarily the best start. And I get it. People are saying, well, it's preseason football. What makes it even worse is this is supposed to be your starting right tackle. I could see it from the rookie, but this is his natural position. So he had a bad night. And then on top of it, I get it. It's a preseason game, but way, way, way too many penalties in this game. Shut up! So I tell you what, let's go out to the comments here, read, and we will continue to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But football is back. Are you guys excited about this? Even though it is preseason, you're on the Sports Web. Let's go out to Giovanni. Hey, Bucs fans, it's still a preseason game, but go Bucs, go Bucs! Absolutely. Let's go out to Misador. So who's going to be number 2 quarterback, Wolford or Trash? I know, Misador, how you feel about Mr. Kyle Trask. Definitely want to hear from you. Again, he didn't play necessarily the best, but you're going to get the opportunity to see what he does with the first team starters. And again, let me just preface this. To start the night, there were 19 players that didn't play against the Steelers. You ready? Rashard White, not playing. Shaq Barrett, of course, the injury, not playing. Joe Tryon, Shayenka, not playing. Mike Evans, not playing. Chris Godwin, not playing. Raheem Jarrett, not playing. Ryan Neal, not playing. Carlton Davis, Antoine Winfield Jr., not playing. Jamel Dean, not playing. Devin White, not playing. Outside linebacker Snowden, I don't even know who he is. Is he Ed Snowden at this point? I don't know. He's not playing. Vita Vea, not playing. Levante David, not playing. Ryan Jensen, Matt Filer, Tristan Wirfs, Kalijah Cansey, and Greg Gaines, not playing. But the guys that did play, what did you see out of them? Who impressed you the most? Does Baker, with this performance, give you more confidence? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. So, and I also want to bring this up, because this is a report that came out yesterday. You know, I had the man on the other night, the sage of Tampa Bay, of Joe Bucs fan, Ira Kaufman. He says in his report about this Kyle Trask and Mayfield competition, I was told poignantly, without much doubt, that Mayfield is going to be the starter in Minneapolis. That's what I was told. With all due respect to Trask, who has a good training camp, and Mayfield struggled a bit, Mayfield's getting the ball in Minneapolis. Although it's not over, Kaufman said, it's probably a lost cause for Kyle Trask. When it was told to me that Mayfield would start week 1, it was said in a definitive manner. There was no equivocation. It wasn't even said, well, depending on it, could change in the preseason games. Let's see what happens. No, none of that. It was basically, it's Mayfield's job. He's got it. He's going to be the starter against Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. So there you go. I trust the guy. He's the sage of Tampa Bay. He's been covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for how long? He's been presenting Hall of Famers for how long? So what does he gain by making up a story? And this is what I've heard in social media, all day long. Well, he doesn't know. What do you mean he doesn't know? How do you know he doesn't know? Because there are other writers out there that got outscooped? Is that what it comes down to? That's friggin' Ira Kaufman. So what do you think about the report, Bucs fans? Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I take him at his word. I think Baker Mayfield will be the day 1 starter. When he was signed by the Bucs, that's what I said. Anything tonight change your mind about that? Not to me. Again, I understand it's a preseason game, but we were talking about just training camp and interceptions. What did Todd Bowles say? Whether it was the receiver's fault or not, that's an interception. He's going to get his opportunity to play with the first stringers, and we're going to see how it works out. Christopher Cole says too many penalties. Absolutely too many penalties. Absolutely too many penalties. And that's what the preseason is for, to clean all that nonsense up. I think the most disappointing thing is the right side again. Luke Haggerty, his natural position is supposed to be the right side. He got beat for 2 sacks tonight. It wasn't pretty. And that's against players that more than likely are not going to be starters for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's not good. So you got to clean that up. If Luke Haggerty is going to be your eventual right tackle, he's got to play a lot better than that. The rookie, Malk, he's got to play better than that. But he's a rookie. But if he's going to be your rookie right guard, he can't have those penalties at critical times. Case in point, that first drive. Get it? 3 straight runs. Not necessarily the best imagination by Dave Canales. They thought they could run with Keyshawn Vaughn. Didn't get it. The disappointing thing for the night, they were going for fourth down on the right side. Get stuffed. That's not good. Get stuffed on one drive where it's 3rd and 1 and then 4th and 1. Nothing on the right side. So that has to be cleaned up. But again, it's a preseason game. So we'll definitely talk more about this here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm not sure who's coming in. It was supposed to be Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Don't know where he's at. We were supposed to have Leo on. Don't know where he's at. So we get your phone calls and we get your instant reaction here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. So let's go ahead and read these comments. Bucs are who we thought they are. Trash. Good night. Going back to bed. Have a great show, Pete. And Roger, thanks a lot for tuning in and also coming over with my wings. I appreciate that.
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to David here. I was thinking the same thing. Gary says, things seem to come easy for Pittsburgh and hard for the Bucs. Bucs head coach better get his thing looking better than tonight. We'll be back. Hate the music. You hate my music? Or you hate the music of the Steelers doing what they did tonight, which is basically go down the field at will with a second-year quarterback who there's a lot of, there's a lot of expectations. And Zion McCollum, who, again, he's going to be your starter tonight. He's going to have an opportunity to be in the nickel corner. Gets absolutely blown past by George Pickens, who, by the way, just came out and said he's the best wide receiver in the league. He looked like it. Bad tackling tonight also needs to be cleaned up. But once again, how many starters were playing in this game? 19 players out for the Bucs. So, how much of an indication? How much do you complain about it? Again, it's a preseason game. I'll continue to say that. Trask had no time. You're exactly right. Trask had no time. Jason goes, everybody hating off a one preseason game on Trask needs to calm down. All right, Jason, thanks a lot for the comment.
Oh, yeah.
As always, I'm going by this preseason game and past preseason games. Misador says, Jason Dahl, you spelled his name wrong and ends with H. Jason says Mayfield isn't going to be the long-term answer. I promise you. I mean, I know that there are a lot of fans out there or not a lot of fans out there in Mayfield. Right, but you got to like what he did tonight. You got to like that touchdown and the touch that he puts onto it to Troy Palmer there in the end zone with the great footwork, right, by the rookie. And we talked about this kid coming out of Nebraska. There was no doubt about his athletic ability. The doubt was, could he catch the ball consistently? He did that tonight. Every chance. He had a penalty there, but you could see flashes of brilliance. You could see why they drafted him. And maybe the Bucs got a steal there. We'll see. All right, so let's see here. Is Mayfield the long-term answer? He's 28 years old. He has lots of potential. There's a reason why he was drafted number 1 in 2018. I told you when they signed him, more than likely, and again, I'm going to go back to this report from the great Ira Kaufman. I believe he's going to start from day one because he gives the Bucs the best chance to win. He has started in this league how many games? 69 games? You can look at the touchdown to interception ratio, but they seem like, again, they're going to focus on the run game. You saw that tonight to a lot of Bucs fans' chagrin. You also saw some quarterback waggles, some mobility by that quarterback. That was a good thing to see. You look back last year with Tom Brady, doesn't necessarily have the mobility. Both of these quarterbacks, especially Mayfield, has the mobility to get out in this offense. And once again, are they going to show everything? No, of course not. It's going to be scaled down, vanilla offense, vanilla defense. Wasn't it a good thing tonight to see the Bucs cause turnovers? We talked about McCollum getting beat by George Pickens, but he also had an interception in the game. So a little bit of a mixed bag. But, I go off of Hall of Famer Rondé Barber, who said what? The kid needs more reps. So he's going to get those reps. He's got the athletic ability. We'll see how it works out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Open phone line, 727-255-00 0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers in preseason game number 1. Football is back, my friend. 27-17. So let's continue to read these comments from you guys. Mayfield isn't going to be a long-term answer. I think it's up in the air. He has an opportunity. This could be his last team, and he knows that. And I think the Bucs know that. And they got him at a bargain rate. So he has lots to prove. And if he turns it around, and I tend to be more optimistic than others, maybe that's a fault. Call me a fanboy if you want to, but the way, again, I look at the talent that sat on the bench tonight. There's still talent on this team. A couple years removed from winning Super Bowl 55. So let's not call it a day. Let's not go into the good night here and think, this team is rebuilding. They're going for the number 1 pick in Caleb Williams or May out of North Carolina. I tend to be optimistic. I think Dave Canales and this offensive coordinator, can turn him around. I think it goes back to Geno Smith last year. I think he's the perfect quarterback for this system. It remains to be seen, because Kyle Trask is going to get an opportunity next week to start against the New York Jets. All right, so let's go ahead and continue to read these comments. Not a good game at all. I agree. Misador says, Ed Gross practice. Absolutely. David Moser, way too sloppy, way too many penalties. Yes, that is a killer. That killed it all night long. It's not good, preseason or not, but you got to get it out of the way. Get those penalties out of the way. 12 penalties, unacceptable, especially at those critical times. On that first drive when it's 4th and 1, which the Bucs were going to go for tonight. They were going to show their offense. They were going to show that they're aggressive. What do you have to lose? It's preseason game number 1. But at that critical moment, he's a rookie. He's going to be your right guard rookie. He can't commit a penalty. Those killed this team tonight. False starts, procedural, not good. Got to clean it up, especially that right side. That right side bothers me. Kind of bothers me now. So we're going to see how that plays out in the next couple of weeks. Agree with you on that, David. Good stuff. Let me go ahead and give you the Macho Man.
Yeah!
In a real game, Mayfield chokes. I'm calling it now. Remember it. Okay. I again, I know how you feel about this, Jason, and I understand that you're a Kyle Trask fan, or you just don't believe in Mayfield, and that's fine. You could say that. And again, you can go back to the numbers. The numbers don't lie. But I will preface this with talking about quarterbacks from the past. We've seen it. We've seen it with Jameis Winston. Yes, I'm using Jameis Winston on this show. What was the thing? The interceptions, making decision-making. Now you have a run game. Now you're going to focus on that run game with Rashard White, who didn't play tonight. I thought Chase Edmonds absolutely killed it when he got the opportunity. 6 carries for 18 yards. He had explosive nature to him. Keyshawn Vaughn may be in the fight for his life because he's trying to gain that second running back job. Right now, Chase Edmonds is in the clubhouse. Of course, Rashard White's going to be number 1 back. But if you're going to focus on the run game, then, of course, that takes the pressure off of whatever quarterback you're going to start with the Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, because it limits those throws. And then also with Baker, and I don't think this is an excuse. I don't think it's an excuse at all. You got to have consistency in this league. And when you have multiple offensive coordinators, multiple systems, I think that absolutely kills your development. I know how you feel, Jason. I get you. All right. Olga says, hello, Peter Blake. What's going on? Olga, thanks a lot. Luke Gedeke looks like a bust no matter the position. He did not look good tonight. Definitely did not look good tonight. Misador, 8 for 9 and a touchdown. Not bad. I didn't think it was bad at all. I thought the first couple of drives were rough, and then they got it together. Now, a lot of people will say, well, to be fair, the Steelers had their, well, of course they're not going to play TJ Watt tonight. I mean, they had some defensive players that will start for the Steelers, but they weren't all starters at that point. So, and when Mayfield got the time, you could see his mobility. You could see that he was confident. You could see that he could throw it to the seams. I mean, he's making those throws that he can make any throw in the National Football League. No doubt about it. There has never been a doubt about Mayfield and what he can do with his ability. Never. It's the decision-making. That's what it comes down to. So good stuff, me. Agree with you.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Ed. Peter the Great, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Ed again. Baker had a good game for him. Jason, he's not the answer, but he deserves better than I'm seeing from the so-called Bucs fans. That is fair. Good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Ed again. Good news. They got 3 more games to get better. They actually got 2 more games to get better because they only got 3 preseason games, right? There's only 3 preseason games. So you got the Jets and then you got the next one. Devin Tompkins has heart. He plays big. That is another player that has shown up consistently in camp. He has shown up. He never drops a pass. He didn't drop a pass tonight. So, and even Rondé Barber said it on the broadcast, right? You have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin, you have Russell Gage. If you could stay healthy, that's your top 3. Who are the other guys? Is it Tompkins? If he continues to catch the ball consistently all the time, that's going to be a guy right there. It could also be Palmer. We've heard nothing. We've heard great things about him, not necessarily in camp, but we heard that he had the potential, right? The speed. 3 catches for 70 yards last year in Nebraska. What's the reason why he's drafted so low? Consistency with his hands. He showed up tonight. He definitely showed up tonight in game situation. So good comment there, Yeltsin. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
He's not the answer, but he deserves better from the so-called Bucs fans. Okay, Misador, the first drive, I think Leftwood stole the headset. Yeah, 3 straight carries, and I kind of think the Bucs at that point wanted to, assert themselves with this offensive line. They did it on the left side, yeah, not so much on that right side. Not so much. Not so much. The rookie's going to have to work the kinks out. And, of course, Luke Gedeke is going to have to work the kinks out. Yes. Let's see here. Okay, so Jeremiah, Shadow, what's going on, Jeremiah?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Misador. Scramble, exactly. Not like a scrambled egg, which Kyle Trask tonight when he didn't have any time. He got hit on that right side. Hopefully he didn't scramble himself there. I feel bad for that kid. But again, he's going to get the opportunity next week to be with the first teamers. So we'll see. No excuses here. But, he wasn't necessarily put in the best situation tonight, right? The interception, is that the receiver's fault? Is that his fault? It looks like it's the receiver's fault. But again, that's something that Todd Bowles is not going to tolerate, to be fair. I mean, it's an interception. It's not good. I mean, if we're going to count interceptions in training camp, which we have done on this show, to be fair, we're going to count them in the preseason. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Also, I know you guys are baseball fans, also not only just Bucs fans. The Rays had an 8-5 lead tonight. They blow the lead. The Guardians tied in the night. It's so weird for me to say that. And then Wander Franco with a walk-off home run. Beautiful. So your Rays win 9-8 tonight against the Cleveland Guardians. All right, let's go out to Susan. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate you as always. Let's go out to David. What's up, Peter? How you doing tonight? I'm great. Even though it's a loss, football is back. I was at work today. I was counting the hours down. I sit right here on the left side, doing sales all day long, getting yelled at by Esther, getting yelled at by Winifred, getting yelled at by Karen and Dolores. You know what I'm talking about. It's the same. Some of those fans are on Facebook were crying about the first drive with the 3 runs there. Same people getting yelled at all day long. And then count down the hours until football is back. And football is back here in Tampa Bay. You got to love it. All right, let's go out to Christopher Cole. Only one defensive starter played. Let's go out to Misador. JTS made as many plays tonight as he did during the regular season. Mid-season form already. You're on one tonight. I don't know if I'm going to give you that because he didn't play in the game. Now, come on, me. Come on.
Shut up!
Jason says, listen to him. Baker looked average. McCollum still a shade off in coverage. Even though he had a pick, he proved he's not an outside corner. Most likely, he's going to have an opportunity to be the nickel corner there. That's what it looks like he's slated to be. Definitely didn't look good at some points tonight. We talked about it, but again, he redeemed himself with the interception. So that was a good thing. I think that's another good thing to take out of this, whether it's second or third stringers on defense. They cause turnovers tonight. That's exactly what Todd Bowles wants to do. That's exactly what the defense didn't do last year. So you got that done tonight. Got a couple sacks too. Cam Gill showed some pressure there. Yaya Diaby, hello. I'll tell you right now, and I was like, because he got hurt at first. It looked like he got hurt. He walked off on his own power. I don't know what the refs were looking at tonight, but early in that game, because he was getting the opportunity to start, and I still think he'll have an opportunity to be in that rotation and start for this team going forward, right? He showed some flashes of brilliance tonight, and the refs, they missed it. They need to go to lens crafters. They're definitely in preseason form because they missed a couple holdings. That guy was relentless, Bucs fans. I'm telling you right now, watch him. He's going to make a difference on this team. Boy, oh boy, I cannot wait for Todd Bowles to unleash this kid. I was impressed with him tonight with the small body of work. And we've heard it all through training camp, how impressive he is. I still don't understand this, and I like to talk to my buddy Leo Haggerty, how this kid lasts to the 3rd round out of Louisville. Was he that raw? Was somebody just not watching the tape? Because it is all there right in front of you with the potential. It is. And I think he's going to show it when he gets the opportunity. And going back to McCollum, I'm going to say it again. Rondu Barber said it best. This kid's got to get some reps. He's going to get those reps, and he's going to get better and better. Again, that's me being optimistic. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host here, Peter Blake. On a Friday night, no calls? What's going on? You Bucs fans out there? I mean, well, there you go. You ask for calls, you get calls. James leading it off here on the Evolution. Welcome to the Sports Web after the Bucs fall in their first preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-17. What's on your mind tonight, man? Welcome.
Welcome. What's up, Peter? How are you,
man?
James?
I'm pumped up. You know, I'm ready for this. Stand by really quick. Let me put you on hold really quick. Tristan, we got James on the line. We're going to finish up with James, and then we'll get to you. Stand by. All right. Go ahead, James. James, are you there?
Yeah, still here. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, so no, listen, man, football's back. That's definitely the most important thing. You know, I think my whole thing with this whole Baker and Trask thing, like, I think it was in Major League 2 when the coach says, or one of the players says, wow, Willie got a lot of power. He hit that home run really far. And the coach is like, yeah, off a guy who will be bagging groceries next week. I mean, it's literally, you look at it and you just go, a lot of these guys aren't going to be your full-time people. So in my opinion, and I don't know where you stand on this, Peter, my opinion, you're not going to see who the Bucs truly are. I even said this with Tom Brady, because you're not going to see who the Bucs truly are until week 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because that will give them the time to get acclimated to whatever the running system is going to be, because it's going to be a run game to take pressure. Look at the success Baker has had. He has only had success with Cleveland, LA, doesn't matter, when the run game is good. When he's out there slinging, dealing, throwing, he's not going to throw 47, 48 times a game like Tom Brady. He's just not going to do it. So don't be surprised if this run game takes a lot of focus, and you're not going to see that in preseason because these starters are just not going to play as often. And so I want to be really happy with what Baker did, but I can't, because he went 8 for 9 against a defense that is second and third string for Pittsburgh. And you can like what you see.
That's a fair point. That's absolutely a fair point. That's fair.
Right. And you can like what you see with the footwork. And I agree with you at that point. I thought Baker looked really comfortable in that third drive when they scored the touchdown. Palmer made a heck of a catch. I mean, that's really, honestly though,
what's better, the catch or the footwork? Because the ball is perfectly placed, and the only guy that's going to be able to catch it at that point is Palmer. And Palmer catches it, and I don't know what's better, the catch, the ball placement, or the little tippy toe there. And then, wide receivers, they take those dancing classes or ballerina classes. I mean, that's exactly what he did. Toe drag swag there by Palmer to catch the first touchdown for the preseason.
Out of those three, I personally, and this is just a personal thing, I didn't like the throw in that scenario, because again, you're going after somebody who's not probably going to be your starter, so you can get away with it now. But when you're playing these teams who have good defenses, which the Bucs will see in the first 4 weeks, I mean, you're going to play some killer defenses even in just the first month.
Yeah,
and that's not even account for the whole rest of the schedule that has a lot of very good defensive teams on it. So I love the catch more than the throw.
Okay.
Didn't think it needed to happen there. But again, credit to Palmer, who just made an incredible play to toe tap, to come down with the ball. That's something you're used to seeing from guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who do it consistently. So I'm going to give the hat there to Palmer and not so much to Baker for the throw, because I didn't like the decision. But the outcome obviously worked out in our favor.
Absolutely.
Because of Palmer.
What else did you see tonight that you like? What are the things that you didn't see? I mean, it's pretty easy, right? The penalty situation, the right side. What other things there concerned you, James, with this team?
Yeah, I think, and everybody wants to, and going to the other side, I know Trask threw that pick tonight, and that's, and again, as I mentioned before, you're not going to see, if this is indeed Baker's team, then we're not going to see the real Baker Mayfield until week 2 or 3. If this is Kyle Trask's team, which all indications are that it's not, and he's going to ride second string, at least until something goes down with Baker, potentially, if that were to happen. But I didn't mind what Kyle did tonight. Again, there were some things that I would have changed. The interception, I didn't think that was the wide receiver. That was a bad read. And it was a good defensive play, honestly, even from a second string guy. So that was one thing. And then the other thing, and you brought this up several times, obviously penalties were terrible. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right on the point, though, with the right side of the offensive line. I mean, that is, when you have two guys like Baker and Trask, who, let's just be honest, they're not Patrick Mahomes, they're not Lamar Jackson, they're not Bryce Young, they're not any of these scrambling quarterbacks who are used to kind of getting out of that. Now, Baker has a little more edge in that department and is able to extend plays to a degree, but he's not one of these running quarterback playmakers. He's a guy who wants to get comfortable in the pocket and do exactly what he's there to do, and that's stand up in the pocket, throw the ball. So that is a huge concern. If you're looking at some of these guys who on the depth chart are pretty high up there, to be
when you're playing your starting right side of your offensive line, deep into the second to the third, to the second quarter there, even into the third, a little bit in the third, I was a little bit concerned, and I get it. Haggerty, that's his natural position. He's never played it. He only played it one time last year with Atlanta with week 17. You're trying to get him as many reps as possible. But like you talked about, like we talked about, it's almost like Major League. Most of these guys that you're giving up sacks to are not going to be on an active roster. You know, they're going to be delivering Amazon packages or be working at UPS. Nothing against that. Some players make it, some players don't. So that's the concerning thing. So, and you turn on that tape, it was not pretty. So you kind of wonder, you know, just out, I get it, one game, but, you know, is there more of a competition there than we're led to believe? Again, that depth chart is definitely fluid at the end of it. James, anything else here on the evolution?
I'll say this lastly, and Peter, I always appreciate talking to you, buddy. You know,
man,
we're friends, and I always
Yes.
appreciate being on the show. You know, last thing I'll say is this: my fear with preseason, and I do this too. I get so frustrated when they don't make the play or when something happens. But I think more of the frustration of Buck fans is, here's the thing: you're playing guys who aren't the starters. So you're trying to see these rookies and these younger guys and whether they can advance to when they get to the starters. So when things don't go the way that you believe they should, it's not necessarily panic mode time. But then again, you sit there and you got guys like Godecki and then the run game and Baker and Trask, and you're like, man, we're not far away from, we're over a month away now, today, a month away from the regular season getting underway in Minnesota.
Yes.
So you look at this and go, is what we're seeing indicative of what we're going to see in a month from Baker and what we're going to see from Trask and what we're going to see from the starters? Hopefully some of them play next week. I don't know what that looks like yet, but it's panic mode to say, this is scary if this is happening right now against a second team. And the question I have for you, Peter, is the depth on this team a concern? Because we've seen it from the rookies. Some of them played okay. Some of them did not play well. And if you get injury to any of these main guys who didn't play tonight, some of these guys who played tonight are going to step into those positions. And that is a point of concern if you're a Bucs fan.
Absolutely.
I don't know if the depth this year is as good as it's been.
I think there's definitely some question mark about the depth at certain positions, but I think, you know, they're better at other positions, like the defensive line, like the outside linebacker, defensive line. I think they're stacked there. Offensive line, I think they have some players there. And if Luke Gedeke isn't playing well on the right side, is it Robert Hansey? Is it him going there and playing that right position? Is it Nick Leverett playing for the rookie? You don't want to take the rookie out. But again, that depth chart is fluid. So that's the good thing about it, because all those players we just talked about on that offensive line, you know, they've had those reps before. They played in those game time situations. So it's not like you got a bunch of rookies out there. And then on top of it, you didn't have Tristan Wirfs. So I think he's going to be fine. I think the transition from right tackle to left tackle will be fine. It will improve the offensive line. You assume that Ryan Jensen is going to be okay. I hear, he's going to be fine. Nothing to worry about. We'll see. We'll see in the coming weeks here. I'm going to take it for what it is. Nobody knows. But if he's on that line, Tristan Wirfs is on that line, Matt Filer at the left guard situation, I feel good about it. At the right side, it's a big-time question mark for me. So to answer your question, I feel good about the depth on that offensive line. And at some other positions, tight end, a little bit questionable. You hope that Cade Otton doesn't go down, knock on wood. Payne Durham catches a touchdown tonight. I think that's what a lot of Bucs fans wanted to see, because he is a red zone target. Is he fleet of foot? Not necessarily. Could the Bucs add somebody to that room? Absolutely, they could. Look at the running back situation. I thought Chase Edmonds was impressive. Keyshawn Vaughn has lots of potential. Can he challenge? And there's some other situations there that are pretty good. So I guess to answer your question, I feel good about this depth. I do. I feel good about some of these players because they have had the reps before. And then again, they're also young at some of those situations. Hope that answers your question. Anything else here on the evolution?
No, that's it, man. And listen, Tompkins should be the next guy behind Gage if he could stay healthy. I agree with you 100% on that part. But Palmer made things interesting tonight.
Yes, he did.
Catching that ball, that's a huge play. So I still think Tompkins gets the edge. He's had a better camp overall, but I agree with you. Hey, man, thanks for the chat as always, buddy. You do a great job, and I'll hang up and listen,
hey,
if
man,
you will.
appreciate you. Use that second call, James. Let me go ahead and give you the Ric Flair open phone line if you want to get in. I saw you, Tristan. Give me your thoughts. Guys, don't be shy. You're not going to be wrong on my show. I'm always going to give you an opportunity to have an opinion. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to go ahead and go out to Tristan. Tristan, welcome to the Evolution after your Bucs fall to the Steelers 27-17. What's on your mind tonight, partner?
Oh, man. I hate to be put in one of them situations where I say I told you so, but yeah, it's looking bad on that O-line, man. It's looking real bad.
Yeah, after one game, I'm not ready to jump off the boat at this point or say that the Titanic has hit the iceberg, but not necessarily the best play on that right side tonight. Let's just say that.
I will tell you, man, you like a fat kid with a pocket full of change and a block away from the corner store, man. You are the eternal optimist. I will give you that. But yes. I must admit, listen, man, and I'll be 100% realistic with you. That O-line, given, a few guys with a Moth coming in, that O-line is almost in minus Slim Buster Monte on the left side last year. That O-line is almost the exact same O-line that Brady took 7-10 with for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, again, besides Donovan Smith, Donovan Smith is not on that side now. You got Tristan Wirfs. Stand by here, Tristan. Let me go out to Jim. Jim, hold on. We got Tristan on the line. We're going to finish up with him, and we'll come back out to you, all right? Hold the line. All right, Tristan, go ahead. I'm sorry about that. We had to put somebody on hold. That's what we got to do here. I'm the producer. I'm the everything. I gotta make sure to manage. So go ahead, finish your point. To finish that point, Tristan Wirfs is on the left side. He's replacing Donovan Smith. You're not sure about Ryan Jensen. You would think that he's going to play. I think the Bucs are being more cautious. Everything that I hear, he's going to come back, but you don't know. Matt Filer on the left guard, you definitely think that would be an upgrade over Haggerty. And then the right side is a major question because you have a rookie there, and then you also have Haggerty on the right tackle spot. So, and yeah, you can't definitely give up sacks like you do. I don't care what kind of mobile quarterback you got. It's not going to turn out very well. Right, Tristan?
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. Like I say, based on just taking inventory of what the fan base is screaming, looking at what I saw on camera, I was now, I will give it to the position groups. I think that wide receiver as a position group is excellent. I think they can compete with anybody in the league. I think our linebacker core is excellent. Cornerback, I think there's a lot of things to be positive with at cornerback, but the questions are on both sides of the ball is on the trenches. And I think that's probably where the football takes place is in the trenches.
Correct.
If you don't have an O-line that's good or a D-line that's good, like teams are going to run roughshod over you. And just considering the teams that we play this year on the schedule, and then you look at the division, with the division getting a lot better just from a talent standpoint,
sure,
it's going to be hard. Now, not to say all is lost. Now, maybe Baker, with his experience and him understanding where he's at in his career, maybe he can turn a corner and he can overcome some of the talent deficiencies. But that it's a lot to be concerned about, a whole lot to be concerned about. Well, I personally, I would like to get on the phone and probably bring in some vets on that O-line because if Jensen and Tristan Wirfs are your vets, it doesn't bode well for these younger guys because, Wirfs is only going into his third year this year?
Well, he's drafted in 2020. So, yeah, it's 2021 going to, I think it's fourth year this year, 2023. So 20, 21, 22, and 23. So, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if these are your vets, man,
right.
Like it's hard to ask from a guy who's expected to pull so much of the weight to have to teach the guys, but behind him, especially when he's making a transition to a more dominant, or I should say a more involved position at the left tackle. So it just didn't feel right. Like usually in Buccaneers preseason, there's usually a couple of splashes in which we can take away from. I just didn't see those flashes. Again, it's only the first game. But then again, considering the track record of the talent in Baker Mayfield, Again, he can overcome it, but just the track record says he won't. I wouldn't bet the house on it. I'd probably bet a Chico stick and a bag of Funyuns.
This guy sucks.
Okay, that's all you're going to bet on. Well, again, to preface this, because I'm Mr. Optimistic here on the Evolution, there are 19 players out tonight. So you put those 19 players in, I think you feel better about it. You're exactly right. It's the first preseason game. You got to work out those kinks. You do have a month to do that. I do think they're going to do that. They have too much talent to be a bad team. But you know what? I've been wrong before. We'll see what happens. What else, Tristan?
Yeah, like I say, I'm holding out hope. Another position in which I don't think we're paying enough attention to.
Okay.
That tight end position, I don't hear a lot coming from it, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Right.
So I'm really interested in understanding on how this new coordinator plans to use the tight end this year, because granted, we drafted 3 in the last 2 years. So I'm not sure, but I literally have heard 0 to nothing out of that position group so far this year. So
it's Cade Otton. It's Cade Otton, and you got David Wells, not the pitcher. He showed up tonight a little bit. You had Payne Durham, who caught a touchdown as a 4th-round pick. I don't know what you expect out of him. Again, that may be a position where Jason Light, if somebody does get cut, he looks at it, looks to upgrade it. But you're right. You haven't heard a lot out of the tight end situation. It's just Cade Otton and a bunch of other guys, I guess. And they're just guys at this point. You really don't know. So that's why I say, don't rule it out that if Jason Light and this team aren't happy, even though they're up against the cap, they make wonders over there. They know how to balance out a checkbook and definitely know how to work that salary cap to their advantage. Don't be surprised that maybe they pick up a veteran, but definitely that's one key position. You think Cade Otton will, take that next step. He looked good in the second half of the year when he got his confidence. Of course, that's with Tom Brady. That's in a new offense. I don't know how they're going to use these tight ends. It certainly seems like, maybe they're not going to all be guys that are going to be, pass catchers. They're going to be more of focusing on blocking because they want to, focus so much on this run game with Rashard White, Chase Edmonds, or Keyshawn Vaughn, or even Sean Tucker, who, by the way, he had a touchdown tonight, but once again, penalty nullifies it, which is disappointing, which is what you saw last year with, Donovan Smith, and Smith isn't here. Again, first preseason game, nothing to get up in arms, but things they definitely got to improve on. And that's what the preseason is for, right?
Yeah, but like I say, the only problem and concern is these same question marks going into this season prior to Tom Brady. They've been here for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Like these same exact question marks. Who's going to be the guy at running back? Even when we got Fournette, it started off with him and Ronald Jones competing for the job.
Sure.
So it wasn't just his job given to him. It was a question mark there at running back.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of question marks, and I hope we can get answers before the preseason over. But if we do not find answers to a majority of these questions, this season is we're going to be looking at 5-11, 6-10.
It's certainly a possibility, and you got to get off to a good start, and that's the most difficult thing about it, Tristan. You got a new system, so everybody, you got to get this offensive system. You got to get this cleaned up, because if not, you have Minnesota on the road. You come back home, you're going to play Chicago, which is an improved team, Philadelphia on Monday Night Football. The Saints have given the Bucs everything they can handle, even though the Bucs swept them last year, and you have the Lions. So that is a tough start, and you're going to have to definitely have some consistency to it. Tristan, appreciate the call. Use that second one. Let me give you the Macho Man.
Ooh, yeah.
As always, man, you brought it here on the Evolution, all right?
I appreciate you, Pete. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, buddy. All right, let's get out to Damn It, Jim. Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Your thoughts tonight on your Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first preseason game, falling to the Steelers 27-17. Welcome to the Sports Web.
Yeah, man. Like the other caller was saying, that offensive line was looking a little shaky.
Little shaky, especially that right side. Yeah, absolutely. A little shaky there. I felt bad for Kyle Trask. I'm not the biggest Kyle Trask fan, but as a quarterback, if you want somebody to earn a job, you got to give them more than 2 seconds to throw the ball. You got to give a quarterback at least 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball. I don't even think he had that tonight, honestly. Pretty bad situation.
Yeah, so nobody really was playing the starters, but they was looking at that offensive line was looking worse, and they was calling back plays that we scored a touchdown on one of the plays.
Right.
And they called back another play where we got a lot of yards for the running backs, right?
Yep. Chase Edmonds had a couple of runs tonight that were nullified from penalties, and then that's a killer. That is absolutely a killer. And I'm not saying I think the refs were in great form tonight, like always, missing calls. And then, some of the holding call I saw against Steny there that got called on that long run by Chase Edmonds that was in the first half. Disappointing. I mean, holding happens on every play with, offensive linemen. And he didn't have his hands outside on the jersey. He had them inside, and you're still making that call. That's one where the ref has to swallow the whistle, in my opinion.
Yeah, they probably a little antsy, start of the year for them, too.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's preseason for everybody at this point. It really is.
Yeah.
Even me.
Yeah. I'm glad you was on tonight, though.
Yeah, man. I mean, of course, this is what we're going to do. We're going to continue to do pre-shows and post-game shows, mostly post-game for the preseason, and then during the season, keep on watching. Trust me, if things work out, it's going to be pretty special. The things that I got planned, if it all works out. But we'll see, all right?
All right, yeah. Besides the line, man, the playmakers was looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Hopefully we get together.
All right, man. What else did you see tonight? And then we'll go out to Jeremiah. Stand by, Jeremiah. We'll get out to you in a moment. What else did you see tonight that you liked from this team or didn't like?
I kind of liked our defense was showing up for the most part.
Yeah.
And maybe we do some of the secondary, but I don't think we didn't have all the starters in. So.
No, you didn't have all your starters in there. I mean, you had Zion McCollum, who's definitely going to get an opportunity to be a nickel. And again, I continue to go back to this because he's a Hall of Famer. Congratulations once again to Rondé Barber. As he said it on the broadcast, this kid has all the physical ability. What he needs is reps. That's what he needs. He needs an opportunity. And he's going to get an opportunity during this season. So we're going to see how it plays out because you've got Carlton Davis, you got Jamel Dean. They weren't in the game tonight. Didn't look good against George Pickens, but it was nice to overcome that. It was also nice to overcome the penalty and then eventually get an interception, which is what Todd Bowles has been focused on this year and will be focused on going forward for this defense because they didn't have the turnovers last year.
Yep, I hope they keep on working. It looked not too bad for the first game of the preseason. So.
Yep. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Let me give you the little John.
Yeah!
Jim, damn it, Jim. Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution, all right?
All right, thank you.
All right, good stuff there. Open phone lines if you want to get in here and talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers falling to the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-17. Week 1 of the preseason. Aaron Rodgers, relax. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on this late Friday night. Once again, to recap, they lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Baker Mayfield has a good drive early on in the second half. 10 plays, 59 yards. With that, small little sample size, if you will. Do you feel more confident about Baker being the starter? What about Kyle Trask? His performance, 6 for 10, 99 yards, an interception. He'll get the start next week from the Jets. Are you disappointed with his start? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go back out to these comments, and then we'll see what we got here. All right. So where did I leave off here? Let's see here. So you're hating on the quarterback. Kyle hasn't worked with number ones, and this isn't a real comp. How's it good for our team? I did not say I'm hating on Kyle Trask. I said he had an interception tonight. I'm being fair about this whole deal. I am. He's going to get an opportunity to play with the number ones. I don't want to hear any excuses if he doesn't play well. I didn't see a lot of great stuff out of him tonight, but again, to be fair, he was playing with second and third stringers. All right, let's go out to Shadow. Shadow, welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind tonight about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Go.
Well, you got to remember that we played against Kyle Rudolph, and he's kind of a veteran.
Well, Mason Rudolph, not Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph was the tight end last year. Didn't show up for the Bucs until later on in the season. Mason Rudolph is yes, Mason Rudolph, yes, not Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer either. Mason Rudolph, yes.
He's kind of close to a red dog.
Shut up and be quiet.
This guy sucks.
Yeah, they had a big play in the game with Calvin Austin, who beats Derek Pitts Jr. Just ran right past him. I mean, there's nothing to say. Calvin Austin, they're using him as a little running back. He's got speed. He may be in the future plans for the Steelers. And you're exactly right. Veteran quarterback in a Mason Rudolph beat him on a good throw. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. What else, Shadow?
I'm not happy with our little stand-up secondary.
Okay. Why are you not happy with the secondary, Shadow?
Well, they can't tackle for one.
Well, there was a lot of bad tackling tonight. That's for sure. Yes, absolutely. Definitely need to improve on the tackling. Absolutely. Agree with you on that. What else?
I don't know.
Let me ask you, Shane. Well, you're listening to your phone. That's the thing. You got to listen to me. I'm talking to you right here. Don't listen to the background. Don't listen to your voice, yourself talk. Listen to me here. What else did you see in this game that you liked? Did you like Baker Mayfield's performance? What did you think about Kyle Trask? What do you think about next week? Well, who do you have confidence in going forward? Do you believe this report from Ira Kaufman that it's going to be Baker Mayfield, or do you still think Kyle Trask has an opportunity to win this competition?
I still think it's Trask.
Okay. So you're going with Trask. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm going with Trask.
All right, Shadow. What else?
Only because you learn behind Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, it's a point.
I like Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if you like Tom Brady or not. He's the greatest of all time. You bring up a point. Everybody's brought that point up the last 2 years. You learned under Tom Brady. What kind of value is that going to have? Well, we talked about it. He's looked good in practice. He hasn't had as many interceptions as Baker Mayfield. And once again, he's going to get an opportunity to start against the Jets. Now, how much has he developed? When he's with the first team, when he's getting the time to throw the ball, will he be able to be successful versus a Jets defense? By all accounts, it's going to be very improved. And that's the reason why Aaron Rodgers chose them in the first place.
Didn't Baker Mayfield play for the Jets?
No, he did not play for the Jets. He played for the Browns. You've had too many tonight, Shadow. He played for the Browns.
Yes.
Who? You had the Browns, the Carolina Panthers, and the LA Rams.
Okay, well,
he's on his fourth team.
He should have played for the Jets.
Well, there was talk of him wanting to play with Todd Bowles when he had that interview just a couple months ago, how he wanted to play with Todd Bowles, and Bowles wanted to have him play with him when he was with the Jets organization coming out of the draft. So, and I think that is also another part of that decision making.
That's why he's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Bowles brought him there.
Correct. Absolutely. All right, Shadow. Thanks a lot for the call. Let me give you the Macho Man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. So going back to it, Jason, again, I'm open to it. I'm curious to see how he performs. I don't necessarily think he had his best game tonight, but was he put in the best situation? No, he wasn't put in the best situation. So we'll see how it works. Tim, Baker better get his affairs in order and order his casket. He's going to need it by November. Goodness gracious. Wow. What is that comment? Well, I don't necessarily. If he doesn't get protection, any quarterback you put back there is going to have to going to be hurting bad. So is Yaya okay? Everything I've heard, and we'll check on it. We'll give you an update on it here in the next couple of days. But he walked off on his own power. And I don't see it was a major injury. Thank God it's not a major injury because, again, if you watched him play, he showed a lot of flashes of brilliance. And again, a reason for me to get excited about this defensive line rotation is a Diaby. I'm right. Mayfield did great. Hope Trask's confidence isn't crushed after the interception. I doubt it. Again, he's going to get the opportunity to start next week with the first team. All I'm going to say is this team from a talent standpoint is worse than that team Brady went 7-10 with. I get the optimism, but who would bet their house on this team? Christopher Cole, it could be worse. We could have Russell Wilson. The kind of year he had last year was not great at all. Sean Tucker is as elusive as advertised. Hope his heart is okay. Scary diagnosis for such a young man. Agree with that. We saw that tonight. It's a shame because it looks like the young man is going to finally score his first touchdown, even though it's not going to count. It's going to be preseason. It's going to count to him. It gets wiped off the board. Why? Critical penalty. Let's go on to Misador. Honestly, what will happen is that Baker is going to ball out. Bucs will sign him to a 5-year, $53 million deal. And as soon as the pen hits the paper, he's going to get hurt and his play will fall off. It's a Bucs life. Come on, man. Come on.
This guy sucks.
Jason, Todd Bowles is over his head. You're not a Todd Bowles fan, I see, either. So I'm not ready to say Todd Bowles is over his head. I think now he's got his coaching staff. He's got his offensive philosophy. I do not think he's going to run the ball 3 straight times, go for it on 4th down, and pick up a penalty. I don't think that's the offensive system. But now there are no excuses out there, right? I definitely believe this offense is going to score more than 18 points a game. I think we can all agree on that. You have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Russell Gage healthy and Cade Otton and Rashard White. The line is the biggest question mark, right? I mean, that is the biggest question mark going in for me. I'm not ready to say Todd Bowles is done. He's over his head. I'm not. You're live? Yes, I am live. Thank you, sir. And as always, Jeremiah, you all got to remember, we played against Kyle Rudolph. Again, that's Mason Rudolph, so our rookies played against a veteran. Sitton says Kyle Trask needs to be cut. Okay. James says, with this team, we won't truly know how good or bad they are until at least week 3. Fair assessment, as always. Let's go on to Misador. Honestly, Latrella looked good tonight. Hated seeing him wearing Rod Woodson's jersey. Okay, good stuff. Savasi Dennis did okay. I saw him a couple times flash. Mayfield is the starter for Minnesota. I agree. And I continue to go back to this report from Ira Kaufman. He's got some inside. He's also got some years on everybody else. I don't think he's just making up a story from Joe Bucs fan just to make it up. I do not think he's just doing that. Sorry. So I do think he will be the starter from day one. They need to work on that offensive line. Absolutely. Christopher Lee. With the right quarterback, I believe Baker can do it. He's got the weapons in Evans and Godwin. Absolutely agree with you on that.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll have every opportunity with those players and everything that you've heard coming out of camp. And it's Mike Evans, right? I mean, Mike Evans, 9 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Possibly go for 10, surpass Jerry Rice when he gets to 12 there in the next couple of years. And by the way, he's not going to be traded. Enough with the nonsense national media.
This guy sucks.
Tompkins is awesome. I'm a fan. I don't know how you can't be a fan, because every time the ball is thrown his way, he catches it. And that's all you've heard from other sources out there that cover the team. Wish I could go out there and watch him do his work, because everything you've heard, he catches everything that is thrown his way. Earl Harris, the third offensive line, needs a lot of work. Agree. Earl Harris, again, too many penalties, 12 for the night. Not going to get it done. There's only so much you could take from game 1 of the preseason. Plus, most of our starters didn't play, and theirs did. But penalties. We've heard that before. Good comment, Rick.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, congratulations on your premiere of The Clock. I expect you to call in and update us all on that new horror movie that you got and you're making. A great director right there out of Pasco County does some great work. I'm surprised you didn't call in. I'm surprised more Bucs fans didn't call in. What are you guys scared to call in? You scared to say what you saw tonight? 727-255 0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick break here, hear from our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll read more comments, take more phone calls on the evolution of Sports Talk Television live on I Love St. Pete, the hub, Amped Up Sports. Well, we'll have to wait there. We're going to take a commercial break. Keep it locked. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. All right, welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Your Bucs post-game show here on the evolution after they fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-17. Open phone lines if you want to talk about it. What did you see tonight? What were you disappointed by? Football is back any way it goes. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Wow, go Rays. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Steeler quarterbacks look good tonight. They did, absolutely, especially that first drive there. Yaya Diaby is the funniest football name I've ever heard, but I tell you right now, he looked like a scary football player. And I just, again, I cannot wait till you get to the regular season because I think the kid is special. I really do. And I think he has an opportunity to overtake some playing reps from JTS if JTS doesn't develop. Not giving up on JTS. I'm just saying it's a good problem to have. I mean, that's what the Bucs focus on in the first place. This is why they drafted Diaby in the third round out of Louisville, because he does have that potential and he is so raw. And even Rondé Barber talked about it on the broadcast tonight. You know, a variety of moves. He's got everything there. Can he put it together? Is he going to steal those reps? You know, Kalijah Kancey, didn't get a chance to see him because of the injury. You know, what's the impact of that? Absolutely. I want you to call in and talk about this as we get a guest on here, a secret one. Well, you may know him. He kind of works for the Buccaneer Radio Network. Just saying. Absolutely. Palmer looked good tonight with the touchdown catch. Absolutely. Next to EJ Biggers. Ben says made that nice interception, but then caught sleeping inside. Hopefully he'll learn. Absolutely agree with you on that, Ben. Good comment as always.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it. The team was beaten like a drum tonight. Good call by the coaches not playing the starters, and I will agree. I don't understand starting the game with 3 straight runs. This head coach is in trouble. Gary. I don't think the head coach is in trouble. I don't think he's in trouble at all. I don't think they're going to show their cards, right? They're playing a poker game here. This is week 1 of the preseason. I didn't understand it, but, you know, maybe they're trying some things out. And even Jason Light said tonight, you know, they're evaluating young players and the key players that are sitting. It is not an injury situation. They're trying to evaluate how much talent they really have. That is fair. And again, they're not going to show you everything they're going to do in week 1. You know, I don't want to give anything away. I don't think the head coach is in trouble. Is there pressure on him this year? There could be. But again, he has everything going in his direction, right? He has his offensive coordinator. He has his system. His defense is very prideful. You know, you hear from Carlton Davis. I love that. We're going to wreck this. We're going to cause turnovers. They caused turnovers tonight. Cam Gill was good tonight. The pass rush was good tonight. You saw William Golston, who they just signed off the street, nearly decapitated that quarterback. He was good tonight. I mean, it's a good thing. I get it. Once again, preface it. It's against offensive linemen that are second and third stringers. But it was encouraging. There are some encouraging things to take out of this loss from the Pittsburgh Steelers. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. As the Bucs lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-17. Football is back, baby. They play the New York Jets. Also will have workouts. Most likely Aaron Rodgers is not going to play in that game, but he most likely will be in those workouts, you would assume. Anybody watching Hard Knocks? I need to catch up on it. I need to definitely catch up on Hard Knocks. All right. So Gary, calm down. Sean Tucker looked quick and powerful. He did. Elizabeth says, go Steelers. I will give it to you, Elizabeth. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Congratulations on the win tonight. Gary says that was a great throw by Baker. The guy, this guy, I bet likes trash. David says, I would have liked to see Kyle run a little bit more tonight. I mean, the poor guy needed to run for his life because, again, he didn't have enough time to make the throws that we talked about Baker could do because he had the time and Kyle didn't, to be fair. But he's going to get the opportunity next week versus the Jets, and then we're going to see what happens at that point. Baker's a good quarterback. Give him a run game so he doesn't have to throw it 47 times. He's going to make the right throws. We're going to win some games. Christopher Lee, I like that, my friend.
Yeah!
Let's see here. Elizabeth says, hi. What's going on, Elizabeth?
Oh, yeah!
Elizabeth again. Yes, Steelers. Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah!
You know I'm right. It's preseason game 1. This isn't any reason to be concerned yet, especially when most of our teams sat out. I really don't know what this caller is talking about. Look, everybody has, they have, and I'm trying to produce as I'm trying to get my guest on here as they'll come in tonight and basically talk to us about what he saw out there at Raymond James Stadium. So I think there's concern with a lot of callers here. Tristan is one of them. When the offensive line gets situated, everything will fall into place for the run game, and the defense will come together and dominate. Elizabeth with the black and yellow. Excuse me. I need a producer here to give me a drink. So if anybody's in the house here, they could see this broadcast. You want to throw me a drink, let me know. 1 hour here, nearly 1 hour and 30 minutes, but good comment.
Oh, yeah!
Let's go on to Joshua. Bucs have a discipline issue under Bowles. Tonight they did, but again, it's a bunch of young players. It cannot continue for the season. This team will not go anywhere. Oh, so there you go. Let's go ahead and get the man on himself. Works for the Buccaneer Radio Network, Mr. TJ Reeves. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. First preseason week. How does it feel to be out there again? Welcome to the Sports Web, my friend.
Good to be with you, longtime listener, viewer, just checking in.
Yes.
It was hot. Even though it was a 7 p.m. start, it was hot. And I've said to several people, I think it was hotter in the fourth quarter, 10 p.m. hour, 9:30, 10, than it was in the second quarter at like 8 o'clock. So it was a little stifling down there. But, hey, they've been used to this in training camp. And we have one preseason game in the books, and I think the theme from tonight is a lot of work still to do, Peter Blake.
Yeah, lots of work to do, and I'm kind of like the psychologist tonight of Buck Nation, trying to talk people off the Skyway Bridge because, the right side, the penalties, the quarterback situation, the first 3 runs. I got to ask you, because a lot of people are like shaking their head. First 3 runs to start the game, and then you have a penalty and you're in 4th down. You're trying to go for 4th down, and you got a penalty and you're punting. What did you think of that whole call there? 3 straight runs, TJ? I bet you didn't expect that, right?
Well, okay, so there's a couple of schools of thought. The first thing is you got a new offensive coordinator. You're trying to get used to everything. I kind of liked the gutsy, hey, it's a preseason game, let's go for it. Unfortunately, the Buccaneers showed way too much team unity on the 4th and 1 because they had 5 guys, by my count, moving at the snap.
Wow.
Nobody was set on the quarterback sneak. So obviously that's something they'll look at on the game tape and say, we got to be better. If we go to run up to the line to run something quick and do the sneak, we got to be better. And there's another school of thought that says, how much do you really want to show over these 3 games when you're going to look to hit people with things they haven't seen, because you got a new offense and a new offensive coordinator in week 1, but also in week 3 and also in week 5. So don't expect a lot of exotic stuff. You're going to see a lot of boring runs, a lot of predictable runs. Should the blocking have been better? Absolutely, the blocking should have been better. I mean, my gosh, there were run plays where there's 2 guys in the backfield in the first half. There's pass plays when there's 3 guys coming at Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. You can't have that. You've got to shore that up. That's what preseason is all about. Back to the drawing board and back to the practices.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're on with Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, friend of the show. Yeah, I mean, Luke Haggerty, right side, right tackle. We hear about it. The rookie there, Cody. I want to say Mock, but it's not. It
is Mauk. It is Mauk, even though it looks like Mock.
Yes,
correct.
Yes, and it was rough for them. We talked about the penalty of the first drive. Haggerty gives up 2 sacks. I think the most disappointing thing, and I get it's preseason 1, but most of those guys you're giving up those sacks to are more than likely not going to be on that Steelers team. So that was a little bit for me, disheartening, if that's a good word to use.
Disheartening tonight.
Yes.
And now work in progress.
Right.
And this is interesting. One thing they have elected to do, obviously, and you've been talking about this, everybody's been talking about this, is they move the best right tackle in the NFL to left tackle. So automatically there's not only scrutiny about him moving to left tackle, but now there's scrutiny on who's the guy playing right tackle. And I can tell you right now, having done this for as long as I'm doing this, Luke Haggerty's got to play better at right tackle than what we saw tonight, or somebody else is going to be playing right tackle. So that is not his position no matter what at this stage. So there is competition, I think, there, and they're looking for him to improve in the practices with the Jets and next week. And everybody loves to overreact off of the one preseason game.
Right.
I would say the same thing, even if you looked razor sharp, like in the second half of this game tonight, backups against backups, or even third string against third string. That doesn't really mean very much either, because to your point, most of those guys aren't going to be playing. Most of those guys are going to be practice squad or out of the league.
Yeah.
Guys that are playing in the third and fourth quarter of the first preseason game. So, yes, but to answer your question about right side of the offensive line, that's a concern, and it's got to be better. It has got to be better. It's an offensive line that's in flux.
Yes.
Once again. And so work in progress with them over the next couple of weeks to get ready for the Vikings.
Speaking of work in progress, the quarterback situation, first couple drives, not necessarily the best. And then eventually Baker Mayfield gets his stuff together there, 8 for 9, 63 yards, a drive of 10 plays, 59 yards with the touchdown to Troy Palmer there with the toe drag swag. I don't know what was better, and you saw this. Was it the throw placement? Because nobody else is going to be able to catch it, TJ. Was it the catch, or was it the footwork? Because I thought, looking at the replay, he didn't necessarily get both feet down, and they actually confirmed he did.
The one replay I saw, I thought he got the feet down, and I'll go with D, all the above. The throw, the catch, and the toe tap on that. That's what the NFL is all about. And I got the chance to talk to Trey Palmer just a little while ago on Buccaneers Radio in the postgame show. And he's like, wow, this is the NFL. And I was able to make a play. And my mom's in the stands, and I caught a touchdown in an NFL game, albeit preseason. So you're excited for him. And that's a guy that can help stretch the defense. That is a guy that has got some speed. And let's take into account here, this. Let's temper everything. When you have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out there, the other things are going to open up. And by the way, you're going to open up things underneath quickly with Godwin in particular, and or in tandem with Cade Otton or a back like Rachaad White out of the backfield, where instead of negative plays and sacks, you're getting the ball to one of those guys real quick. So that's another factor in this. But Trey Palmer's got a chance to really help the pass game from a vertical stretch the defense standpoint. He's explosive. He can really run. So again, he's somebody that is got a lot of upside right now in this offense. Let's see how it develops.
Yeah, I mean, 3 catches last year for 70 yards in college football, but the reason why he's drafted so low is because his hands are not consistent. We haven't heard a lot about him in camp, but tonight he showed up. We'll see if he can continue to do that. Now on to Kyle Trask. Unfairly, necessarily didn't play his best, but he was playing with second and third stringers, had the interception. It looks like it might have been on the wide receiver. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with the first stringers next week against the Jets. I don't necessarily think he played the best, but I don't necessarily think he was put in the situation to succeed. Is that fair?
Yes, and I think you summed it up. The biggest thing is what's going to happen now. What's going to happen when you get the reins in these practices and in the first quarter of the game against whomever is playing for the Jets in the first quarter next Saturday night. That's big for Kyle Trask right now. By his own admission, I talked to him after the game a little while ago on Buccaneers radio. He said, I can't make that throw because I believe what happened is they were in zone and they read his eyes all the way. And he didn't see the guy coming underneath when he made the throw, obviously. But he had a couple of other balls. I mean, he had a key third down to Keith coming across the middle, and Keith's got to catch that ball for his quarterback because it keeps the drive alive. And he had a couple of other third downs that were big plays, and they ended up getting a penalty. And one of them was the face mask call. I think that was Geiger that got the face mask call that backed up after about a 30-yard gain, turned it into like a 20, like an 18-yard gain or whatever, a 16-yard gain.
Yeah, I think it was David Moore.
There were penalties that set him back as well. And you're right. This will be different if he's out there with mostly first-team guys. Then again, the theory is you're playing against mostly first-team defensive guys too. The only way that Kyle Trask improves is if you give him the opportunity to play here in the preseason. And if he earns the chance to get out there once the regular season begins, that's the key word, he earns it. You gotta hope that this action in the preseason he learns from and he gets better because of it. So it's fascinating because everything is going to be judged that he does next week. And what happens, Buccaneer fans here on the Sports Web, if Kyle Trask lights it up next week? Now the narrative becomes, well, what are you going to do for the Minnesota Vikings? Do you just give it right back to Baker Mayfield if Kyle Trask lights it up? Now, if he plays poorly, that really makes the decision next week. Easy that it's Baker Mayfield. But let's see. Let's see what it looks like in those practices and next week for Kyle Trask, my friend.
Definitely. We've got TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, sideline guy here, gracing us with his presence, as he always does here on the Sports Web Live on I Love St. Pete, the hub. Amped Up Sports and Bucs Life. What else did you learn there? Because you're talking to the guys in the locker room. I mean, what did the moods seem like? Again, I know it's preseason, week 1. You always want to win, but what did the moods seem like? What did you learn from the other guys that you talked to in that locker room tonight?
So I got the chance to speak with a couple of rookies. Servassier Dennis is very impressive. Very impressive on the field, very impressive with the post-game interview. You can see why they like this guy as an inside linebacker and with the instincts. Again, long way to go. He's a rookie. It was a preseason game tonight, but there's some hope. I love Yaya Diaby's chip on his shoulder.
Love him.
And I know Todd Bowles said to us, and Yaya said it to us when I talked to him, he did not significantly hurt himself. That's good news.
Good.
He just kind of felt a tweak rushing the quarterback on the left ankle. And so it may be a situation where he rests a little bit. Maybe doesn't play as much in the practices. Again, everything you're doing, you know this, is aimed towards the Minnesota Vikings week 1. It's the same reason, sorry, Buck fans, you aren't going to see Kalijah Kancey in these preseason games. They are aiming for Vikings week 1. And the last thing you want is him back too soon, Kancey, with a calf injury.
Yeah.
So, but Diaby, back to him, very, very much that is a name they have been talking about for 2 weeks. They like him as an outside pass rusher. Todd Bowles has basically said, and I don't think it's any secret to us and to the media, we're going to probably cut an outside linebacker pass rusher that can play for somebody else. Hopefully it's not more than one. But you saw Cam Gill tonight. You can't keep all these guys that they're trying to utilize. But Diaby, I'm very interested in seeing his development as well.
Yeah, and that's a guy that I circled. And again, I just don't understand how scouts miss on a player like that. I mean, he looks like a man among boys. I mean, any football player scares me, but you see the number 0 there, and he's just massive. Like, and you see him tonight, and I feel like he's got everything there. He just needs the opportunity. And I also feel like TJ, he has the opportunity to steal some reps from JTS, or Todd Bowles has some type of package for him that's going to best use his skills at the end of the day. In fact, I think the refs tonight missed a couple holding calls because it looked like he was going to basically take the quarterback down with the sack, but the offensive line is holding him. What else did you learn tonight? And then we'll get you out of here on that.
Well, I think missed tackles, bad. Penalties, bad. Welcome to the preseason. My joke for you was, could you smell that one where you live in Holiday from the second quarter on? Because it looked like preseason football. Yep. Now, what do you look like in New York? That's the important thing. Do you clean some of this up? And it's a different day, Peter, because what used to happen in these situations is you put the pads on and go hard for a couple of days. You don't have that anymore in training camp. It is much different. It is much less physical contact in training camp. But there was a lot of live action, hitting, tackling to the ground, blocking that doesn't go on in these training camps. Now, it will go on for at least a couple of the sessions against the Jets when they're going good on good. They're gonna get to work on 2-minute drill, goal line drill, good on good, and physical play, block, tackle to the ground, that kind of thing in the practices. And that's what you need. Get used to the live contact, get used to everything for these next couple of preseason games, and hopefully we see improvement. I'll tell you this, if you're seeing guys in the first half of the game Saturday night missing tackles, if you're seeing more penalties for not being able to line up correctly with illegal formations,
killer.
That's got to get cleaned up this week, and let's see if it does.
Yeah, 12 penalties, way too much, especially at those critical times. You got Payne Durham, who also caught a touchdown. I expect him to be a red zone target, so that was nice to see. And I'm kind of curious. I like to go to one of those practices against the Jets. Of course, being a joint practice, is Aaron Rodgers going to play in that practice? And how beneficial is it going to be to that defense? Because we know that Aaron Rodgers most likely is not going to play in that preseason game. Right?
Do I hear Alexander getting excited about the Bucs?
He is.
I think I might there in the background.
He is getting excited. Yes.
Look, I have not seen the episode of Hard Knocks. I know they've done one. I believe the next one is out Tuesday before the Bucs practice. But my understanding is Aaron Rodgers was practicing against the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte. They were practicing against each other to play that preseason game. And so now we'll see, does he practice some? And I would think he does in the good on good against the Buccaneers for this week. And how does that translate? He's more than likely, I think they already said this, he's not going to play in the preseason game. So the time that you're going to see Aaron Rodgers is going to be in these joint practices, including against the Buccaneers, and we'll see what it looks like.
We'll definitely see what it looks like. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend.
Hey, we'll be on the air on Buccaneers Radio from New York next Saturday night. For that one, you can follow me at Bucs Sideline Guy, and I always love hanging with you, Peter Blake, even after the Buccaneers' first preseason game tonight. And again, work in progress. Let's see if it's not a lot better. And I have a feeling you will see some better things. And when you get I'm not making excuses here. When you get Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Rachaad White back on the field with Cade Otton, with Russell Gage, etc., things will look different. And that may not be till Minnesota week 1. But have some optimism. It will look different when you have those guys.
See, that's why I love this guy. That's why I have the great TJ Reeves on, because he believes in what I believe in, optimism. We're optimistic here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Thanks for the time, and we'll see you soon here on the Sports Web. Definitely get some wings here. You're definitely not going to be a stranger on this show, my friend. Safe travels, all right?
All right, Peter Blake. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, there you go. The great TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network. Always love him gracing us. with what he has to say, his inside. He's inside that Buccaneer locker room. He's interviewing those players. He knows the mood. And he told you, there's some optimism. There needs to be some optimism. It's one preseason game. Things are going to get better. Trust me, there's too much talent. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, come on, Bucs fans. Let's hear from you tonight. 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. In case you didn't hear, if you're a baseball fan, your Tampa Bay Rays win in walk-off fashion. Goodness gracious. Who is hotter right now than Wander Franco? Or Franco, excuse me, Wander Franco. Can I say his name right? I mean, it's only, 11 and nearly midnight here, and I can't say the name right. Wander Franco. Walk-off bomb to right field to win the game 9-8. After Pete Fairbanks nearly basically blows the game because they have an 8-5 lead. Walks and wild pitches and just craziness to drive Rays fans crazy. But that's the reason why you watch the Rays. That's the reason why you watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the reason why you watch the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's always great here in Tampa Bay. Again, open phone lines. Let's read some of these comments, and then we will get out of here for the night after the Bucs fall in their first preseason game. We'll be back on Monday and Wednesday nights, hearing from Harry the Greek and Leo Haggerty. Let's go out to the Marine who was there. Welcome, Ron. Bucs fantastic. Your thoughts here on the Sports Web.
Hey, Pete. Good evening. Good evening to all the webheads out there, too.
Absolutely.
Sports Web.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for tuning in. Yes, sir. Hey, Pete. So, I was there at the game tonight, and I just wanted to, some observations. So,
okay. They
actually kept Will Golston in most of the game, and he did real good, man. He was all around, getting low on guys, taking them down to the ground, stopping the run. CJ Brewer made a few tackles.
Nearly had a fumble there, and they overturned it because what they saw on the replay is he strong-armed the quarterback. He took the ball away, and they said, you can't do that. Ball was down. So he nearly had his first fumble there, but the Bucs end up with Russell there getting an interception, jumped a great route there, gets an interception, and puts the Bucs in a great position to score. But you're exactly right. CJ Brewer showed up tonight. I saw William Golston. That was impressive to see. I mean, the crafty veteran who you just signed off the street comes in there and gives you, that production. That's what you need. That's the reason why you signed him in the first place. He's going to be a mentor. He's going to be a guy that's going to be able to get some reps, and he's definitely important because he'll do the dirty work, especially in that run game, which you didn't see a lot of by the Steelers tonight.
Yeah, no, and the Bucs definitely tried to pound the football quite a bit in the first half. Even though it's weird, it must have been kind of a multi-dimensional because there was a lot of running, and you're going, man, they're really trying to establish the run and get it going. And then it just kind of seemed like a long half, so it was a little bit strange. But Baker looked solid overall. Trask didn't look too good tonight, but he just has to get better with knowing when to throw the ball away. And he had to take some sacks, unfortunately. Geiger looked good. Jalen Geiger was all over the place. Merriweather at the safety position making a lot of tackles. And Trey looked good tonight. That's one of the guys I had my eye on. Trey Palmer caught a few passes, and he's very fast. He's quick.
Trey Palmer, absolutely.
Cody Mount stuck his nose in there. And just as I thought, I think he's going to be pretty good. I don't know. I didn't really pay too much attention to Haggerty, Pete. Well,
I don't know how you couldn't because he was basically a swinging gate tonight. He was letting pass rushers get in there, 2 sacks. So not one of his best games. Probably one of the most disappointing aspects of the game besides the penalty situation. So, but again, it goes back to what TJ said. They got lots of stuff to clean up. It is only in the first preseason game. We'll see, the progression and what they do with the second preseason game against the Jets next Saturday night. What else, Ron?
Yeah, Pete. So what are you looking? I mean, what are you looking for? Do you have any certain inclination to tilt to one side or the other?
For me, I've said from the very get-go, I think Baker is going to be the guy. I would like to see more consistent drives, but again, it's not necessarily showing the team what you're going to do, everything you're going to do. But it's nice to have those long sustained drives. It's also nice to protect your quarterback. And they didn't do enough of that tonight when Kyle Trask was in. That was bad. Hopefully the first team does better when you get Tristan Wirfs. But the main priority for me is not to have any injuries, because like TJ Reeves said of the Buccaneer Radio Network, the number one focus is to get ready for Minnesota in Minnesota. That's your main goal. You come in there, you're healthy, you're relatively healthy, you feel good about your situation, because there is still a lot of talent on this team at the end of the day.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And I'll tell you, Pete, I don't know if Scott, it'd be awesome if he was listening, but I sat next to Scott Bradford, and I want to
love that guy. I've seen him out a couple of times. I'm so glad to be a part of that platform, Bucs Life. I thank you guys so much. Jay Garrison and Scott, I've seen him out. He's so good. He's a good dude, and I hope you guys had a good time, man. Yeah. Well, what was it like to be in that stadium again? I get it. It's a loss, but football is back, baby. It feels good, right?
It was really cool. I mean, I was able, so my ticket would have been up in the 331, but Scott actually said, hey, Tyler's not going tonight, his boy. So he was out of town. So I was able to, that worked out great. It's always a great stadium. It's very compact. I mean, there was a lot of Steeler fans there, but I mean, I'll tell you, Pete, I don't even want to go into detail because it's like, nobody wants to get stuck in that situation, and of course it was Steeler fans, but people that cannot control their liquor and their alcohol, they're just always so dangerous to be around.
This guy sucks.
Yeah, not necessarily the best situation, but we've been to those games before. Opposing fans or even Tampa Bay fans, control your liquor a little bit. I get it. You get excited, but it ruins it for everybody else. I get it.
Yeah, some people get really,
Hopefully you didn't get into a situation tonight. Did you get into a situation tonight with somebody?
Yeah, man, and it was really a touchy because when you're in a situation where you may have to react, but if you do, you have so much to lose,
Don't bother, my friend. Don't do it, Marine. Show that discipline.
I was really back into a corner with a crowd of people with a concession stand wall at my back. So I mean, I had to either, you know what I mean? It was just like, I don't know, kind of don't even want to go into detail. Luckily, nothing really. But it's just one of those things. Just drunk Steeler fans.
Well, you got to stay away from it. You just enjoy the time, my friend. If you go back there, you see the Bucs again, which I anticipate you're going to. And as we got Alexander here on the camera, who's just come by and said hello. I don't know why he's doing that, but he just wants to say hi. Oh! So, all right, man. What else? Anything else here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television?
No, man, glad to see the Rays were able to pull it off after and walk.
Yeah, baby, that was nice, right? After basically blowing an 8-5 lead with Pete Fairbanks just going crazy tonight, and somehow, some way they pull it out. That's a big win. That's a big win, even though a lot of Rays fans were having cardiac arrest after that inning. I know they were, and then they were having it afterwards with Wander Franco in a different way. So
well, and also too, Pete. I mean, I'm sure a lot of Rays fans, well, if you are a fan, I mean, you should know they're having a lot of injury on the pitching side right now, right? Like there's a couple guys that are suffering some injuries, right, as far as starting pitching.
Sure, McClanahan's there's a big time question mark about him. He already lose Springs. You've lost a couple pitchers this year, Rasmussen. So right now, I mean, you got to get guys like Glass now, who Kevin Cash was reporting today. They're not going to take any chances with. Most likely he'll be back either Monday or Tuesday. I believe that's in San Francisco. So they're going to work that situation out. You're going to need him. You're going to need Sabali, who didn't necessarily pitch that great tonight. He hasn't pitched badly. And then, of course, you got Zach Eflin. And then there's always guys like Zach Littell. I didn't think he pitched so bad last night. I think he gave up a couple of hits there, home run and a hit here and there. And but he's definitely developed. He's become a guy that was a 2-3 inning player to now, 6-7 innings, giving you a quality start. And then you got Bradley and possibly somebody from the minor leagues. So are they done? No. Is it difficult? Yes, because you don't have McClanahan and you're not sure going forward what you're going to do. Ron, appreciate the time as always. Let me give you the Ric Flair. Woo! There you go. Good stuff, Marine. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-6737. 7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web after your Bucs lose the first preseason game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-17. Taking phone calls, comments, interaction, whatever you guys want to do. We're here live on I Love St. Pete, the hub, Amped Up Sports and Bucs Life. So OJ is available. That's very funny. Is that a possibility to bring him back? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe he's on his last chance. Ever since that injury, he hasn't been the same player, but maybe the Bucs take a flyer on him. How about Baker? Absolutely. Bucs dad 1-1. Our third string quarterback looked better than our backup. That everyone has been okay. Harry Berg says, relax, preseason, laugh out loud. Very good.
Yeah.
Damn it, Jim. One of them, Rudolph's. Absolutely. Harry says, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Yes. Jim says, let Tom Brady retire. He's retired. This shadow guy is drunk. That's certainly a possibility. But we love our shadow there in South Dakota. Will Baker have a chance to play with the starters next week? It's a great question. I think they're going to try to give Kyle Trask that opportunity with the starters. And then maybe Baker fall. I don't know. That's a great question. That's a great question. We'll have to follow that up. But I think it's more of Trask at the end of it. Will Baker have a chance? Okay, so we answered that. Gary says, I wasn't impressed with the OC play calling tonight. I know you're not going to be impressed. But again, they're not going to give everything away. Just keep in mind of that. You're not going to see everything they're going to call during the season. They're not going to. They're playing a poker game right now. You're going to get ready for Minnesota. And we'll see how they start out. Are there any other position battles outside of quarterback? Is the incumbent White the starting running back? Absolutely. I believe he is the starting running back. It was nice. It was impressive to see Chase Edmonds rip off some great runs tonight. And it's disappointing because, again, they're nullified from holding and penalties and stuff like that. I felt like some of the offensive plays, if our ones were in there, would have had some nice gains. I like the quarterback waggle. I like the pass play action. That's something that's a new wrinkle that you didn't see from this offense last year. So good stuff, Ben. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
I feel like week 3, our offense will be rolling. Hopefully defense can keep us early in these games and close games. Certainly you're going to have to depend on this defense, and I have nothing but confidence that this defense is going to have something to say about it, right? Devin White has something to prove. Levante David, something to prove. It's nice to see Cam Gill coming off a Liz Frank injury, rushing the passer, gives you depth there. JTS, where you at? Please stand up. You going to finish? Anthony Nelson, re-sign. Is he going to come and play? Yaya Diaby, Kalijah Cansey, Ramirez. These players right now, these are going to be, the guys that you have to watch for. Can you get those contributions? And then, of course, offensively, we know who's the quarterback. You got Evans, Godwin, and Gage. And you got Rashard White and possibly Chase Edmonds or Keyshawn Vaughn and Cade Otton. The biggest question mark, the offensive line, especially that right side. Can they clean it up? We'll see. LFG, TJ always brings the positivity. I believe. I like it, Ben. Jamie says no starters on both sides of the ball besides Baker. Jamie Haggerty is trash. Dave says, Peter, you win tonight. Trask looked okay. Again, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm not, I didn't come on this show and I said, I was right. I'm patting myself on the back after one preseason game because Kyle Trask isn't your starter. I'm not coming in. I told you I give it a chance. I want a young quarterback to develop with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you know how many years I've watched this team? I want to see that happen. I'm not sure if it's going to be him. I like Baker Mayfield. I do. He takes some chances, but that guy can make some throws. He can make some things happen. The thing that worries you is if that pressure gets to him, does he go back to that decision-making process? And that is the facet that I think is interesting about the 2023 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to limit those throws with the more emphasis on a run game with a White. Just my opinion. Come on, Peter H. Blake. Absolutely, Jim. Thanks a lot for calling. After watching this game tonight, the Bucs are trying to win in the division this year, holding out the starters. They are playing to win the division and save coaching job. Haggerty is trash, getting beat by 2 and 3 guys. What the hell? And Dave says Bulls has to clean these penalties up or it's going to be 2022 all over again. Thanks a lot for all your calls, all your text messages. I really appreciate it. We'll be back on Monday and Wednesday night, or if there's some breaking news, of course, thanks to our guest, Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network. Jim says, good show. Thank you. Damn it, Jim. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Yeah.
Again, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Like I Love St. Pete, The Hub, Amped Up Sports, and Bucs Life. There's Facebook stars out there. If you like the content, not begging for it, but give some Facebook stars, give some YouTube chats. Tune in, call in, text in. 3 things. You know them, you love them, you got to have them. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And fans of the Sports Web, Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, and of course fans in the Tampa Bay area, it's your time. Bucs fall to the Steelers in preseason game number 1, 27-17. Keep it locked here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a good night. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com.